Right. So, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Irish Warriors MMA show. Today we have Richie B from East Coast. How are you doing today, Richie?
Good, sir. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. So we'll get started with the first question. We'll start at from the very beginning. How did you begin your journey into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and what motivated you to pursue it professionally?
It was back in school. I was about like 14 years old and I was getting out of shape. And it was around that time where you started noticing girls and girls started noticing you. And I realized I'm a bit too fluffy for my own good. And I had a friend who was doing MMA at the time. So in our breaks in school, we would always talk about MMA. And then I just decided to give it a go. And I went over to a local gym in town and kind of kicked off from there. I started off with Muay Thai. I wanted to do MMA. They had Muay Thai classes. I started off with Muay Thai classes. I probably did maybe like 4 or 5 classes. And on the other side of the room, in the same room at the same time, they were also doing Jiu-Jitsu classes. So I decided to do both. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do like a couple of days a week Muay Thai, a couple of days a week Jiu-Jitsu. And then I started doing the jiu-jitsu classes and just fell in love with it and never went back to Muay Thai.
That's fair. That's fair. And what was that club? I think was it the Republic of Jiu-Jitsu in town? Or was that a different one? Was
Yeah,
there?
but now I think it's called Republic of Jiu-Jitsu, but back then it was just known as Wild Geese Martial Arts Academy.
That's cool. That's cool because I remember being there a while ago and they were telling me oh, Richie started training here first. That's where he first was. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you won the NOK Europeans at brown belt a couple years ago, which is a fucking massive achievement. Can you walk us through that experience and what that meant to you as an athlete and as a person?
Yeah, man, that was wild looking back on it. And now we got NOK Europeans again, literally next week.
Yeah.
This was when I won it, it was in 2022. So that was my last year as a brown belt. So that was like 2 years ago. Yeah, man. Like as an athlete, you always look for the highest achievements, and I've been competing for a very long time, for like over a decade at this point, and you always strive for that top place, but at the highest level, it's very hard to get. And when you finally get to it, it just feels like it feels like all those losses you took in the years before were all worth it. It just feels you just feel very fulfilled, especially having all of your team and your loved ones there watching you. And as you know yourself, competing is it's very tough on the mind. It's not that tough physically, but it's very tough on the mind, staying focused throughout the whole day. It's a long day competing. If you're making it all the way to the final, you're probably going to be fighting for like, you're gonna have to stay in there for like 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours, depending how big your bracket is.
Yeah.
You're gonna have, I think I had either 4 or 5 matches. So I was probably competing for like a good 4 to 5 hours, staying in there, trying to keep myself in the right headspace. But yeah, man, it felt amazing. It's one of those feelings that you're gonna have forever. You're gonna
Yeah.
eventually be old as fuck, and look back on that time you did it, and it was all worth it. And hopefully, we get to do it again next week.
And how is your preparation for NOK Europeans next week going? What's the difference in training like from then and now? How have you prepared differently for that?
There's no difference, man. It's always the same. Try not to overthink it. It's all about consistency. Between then and now, I've just been training literally every day, not because I'm trying to prepare myself, but just because I enjoy training, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Whether there's a big tournament coming up or there isn't, I'm still in the gym, training, focusing on just improving as a martial artist. At the end of the day, this is what I do, this is what I love.
yeah.
And competing is just another aspect of what this is. Competition is just another tool to work on, to focus, just to have another thing to focus on. and above all else is a tool to work on your own personal development. Competition is tough, but yeah, the difference between then and now, there is no difference. Just the same thing. Be consistent, and the rest will just solve itself
Follow
out.
on. Yeah. As one of the coaches at East Coast, what do you think sets the club apart from being one of the best clubs in Ireland and Europe from, let's say, any of the other clubs? What makes it so special?
Just the people, man. It's the people in the gym. It obviously trickles down from the coaches. We had a good upbringing under Dara, my coach Dara, and he showed us the path, and then myself and all the other coaches followed along, and now we are the coaches, and we're also trying to do the same thing that Dara did to us. Pass on the
The knowledge.
knowledge
Yeah.
and the overall vibe to the people coming through, and all of our members, and all of our members obviously, what you see is what you do. And I think it's just the people that make East Coast Jiu-Jitsu so special. And we've been around for a very long time, so the we have a lot of senior members, people who've been training for a very long time, like 10 years. And then if you have, you know, 40 people, 30, 40 people who've been training for 10 plus years, the other 300 people are just going to follow along.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, it's just the vibe. It's just the people around. That's what makes East Coast Jiu-Jitsu so special. One thing I noticed is we have a lot of people that come and go, depending if they get like a job opportunity in a different country. People have to move on with their lives. So a lot of times we have people training with us for many years, and then eventually they have to leave because they have to leave the country or move on in a different
Yeah.
career path. But what I noticed is they always come back and visit East Coast, or they still have those friendships with the people at East Coast, even if they move to a different gym and they join a new jiu-jitsu gym academy. They always have that special connection with our gym, just because of the people and the friendships they've made over the years. So it's just the people, man.
The people. So you compete in gi and no gi. In your opinion, what are the key differences in approach between gi and no gi jiu-jitsu, and how would you prepare for each?
Man, I keep it simple, bro. I just train. I just focus on having fun, man. At the end of the day, one thing I think is that people just overcomplicate things. They try to deep it too much. You also see some people try to be only gi people, some people try to be only no gi people. Man, the way I think about it is like it's all jiu-jitsu to me. At the end
Yeah.
of the day, I'm a martial artist. I consider myself a martial artist. I'm trying to be the best I can be at all human movement.
Yeah.
When it comes to preparation and the difference between the two, bro, if it's a gi class, I'll throw on the gi, just do my best. If it's a no-gi class, just wear a no-gi fit and just do my best, and then just learn and try to be the best I can at both. I don't try to overthink it. Obviously, there's like differences in it. You have to like focus on different things depending
Yeah.
which one
Yeah.
you're doing,
Yeah.
but then you just focus on that. Like let's say you're competing in the gi, try focus on the grips you like. If you're competing in no-gi, try focus on the game you like. And that's the end of that, man. Try not to overcomplicate it.
So you're not only an athlete, but you're also an entrepreneur. Let's talk a bit about Poltergeist here. How did this come about, and how do you balance running Poltergeist while also having a career as a professional athlete?
I actually had in the background, I don't know you can see like a little rack
Yeah, you can see I
full
have
of
my one in the background as well, just there behind me. I have the shorts,
oh yeah,
the
you
Brabus
do, you
Black
do.
shorts.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's it.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
so sorry, how did the brand come about?
Yeah, how did it come about first? Yeah, well, that's the first part of the question.
So looking back, man, I don't really know. It kind of just came natural. I would be really into fashion and music and cars, and just that culture overall. I like wearing nice clothes and listening to the music I like, and it just kind of just came about. What if I start a clothing brand? Let's just see how that goes. And then it was in the making for a very long time. Just trying to find the right name for it.
Yeah.
We were like bouncing between names for a very long time. And then eventually the name Poltergeist, it actually came from a trap song. I think it's like Migos. The name of the song is Too Hotty. And if you listen to the song, they mention the word poltergeist a couple times in it. And one night I'm just in the kitchen, just making dinner, and I'm just singing along to the lyrics of the song. I think the line was like scary like poltergeist, and I'm like singing and I'm like poltergeist. That kind of sounds cool. So then I start like looking into the word, trying to see like what it means and read about it, and then long story short, poltergeist is now a thing.
Yeah, I remember we were talking one day and you told me most of your ideas for the new drops they come from music. Brabus Black came from a song as well, didn't it?
Yeah,
Or
Brabus is a company that does high-end cars. And again, if you watch like music videos or you listen to trap music, they would be mentioning a lot. They'll be talking a lot about like high-end cars, driving expensive cars. So it all just ties in together.
yeah,
And
I think
then same with the Poltergeist. There's the car company Rolls-Royce. I don't know if you know, but the car company Rolls-Royce, all of their car models are named after ghosts. So a Rolls-Royce Poltergeist is just a type of a Rolls-Royce car. So it all just like ties in.
and how do you balance running Poltergeist with your jiu-jitsu career? Do you find it difficult or do you find it quite easy?
Listen, man, everything in life is difficult, but you pretty much have two choices, right? You suffer by working hard on your craft, and that's obviously difficult because you're doing something all the time and you're always hustling and always chasing the next thing, and you're always busy. Every time you have a bit of free time, that's time you can, I don't know, study more jiu-jitsu, go train more, go lift weights, work on your business. There's always time to do more. You either, struggle and suffer by hustling on your craft, or you suffer and struggle by never doing anything, and then nothing ever comes out of anything, right? So you pretty much have to pick your poison.
Yeah,
Do you want to run yourself into the ground, hustling every day and working on your craft and becoming someone?
yeah,
Or are you going to end up doing nothing? And that's a struggle in itself. So nothing in life that's good is ever going to come easy.
yeah.
And you just have to find something that you love doing, and then just that's your purpose, man.
Yeah, I think it's better to die trying than die without trying ever at all.
That's it, man.
Yeah. So you've been training for so long. What advice would you give to someone who's just starting jiu-jitsu, especially in terms of handling those physical and mental challenges?
I'd say what's harder for people, man, it's the mental challenges, not really the physical. Obviously, like jujitsu is hard on the body as well, but most people quit because they just get into their own head.
Yeah,
If I had to give a piece of advice, is again, just don't overthink it. Just go to training, try to enjoy it. Don't worry about winning or losing. It's not about winning or losing. It's about like becoming a better version of yourself, as cringe as that might sound. Most people quit, man, because their egos can't handle getting beaten by someone who's smaller, or they've been training for less time. So don't focus on other people, man. Really try to find the enjoyment in going to training and learning, telling yourself that you're there to learn and become a better version of yourself. You're not there to beat other people,
yeah,
and just be patient. Sometimes you can train with someone who's been training for like over 10 years. Okay. The only reason they're better than you is because they lost, they got submitted way more times than you did. Okay. If someone gets their black belt or gets a huge achievement, wins Europeans, Worlds, whatever, the amount of losses they had to take over those 10 years is crazy. So eventually you will get there, whatever your goal is. If you're trying to get your blue belt, your purple, brown black belt, if you're trying to win worlds, just keep showing up. If you're trying to be consistent with your training, all you need is 2 times a week for 10 years. You're going to be a black belt. It's as simple as that. People try to complicate it. They come in hot into jiu-jitsu. They're all about it the first month. They train every day and then they get burnt out because of X, Y, and Z, and then they quit. It's as simple as that. Show up to training as much as you can, even if it's just 2 times a week, even if it's just 1 time a week. But that 1 time a week, keep that consistent for a very long time. And that's all it is. Don't overthink it. Just go to training and overall just enjoy it.
Yeah. So you're sponsored by Progress, which is a huge brand.
PRG.
Exactly,
Yes, sir.
exactly. Brilliant. How important is it for you to be involved with such a big name in the sport, like, and such a big business for the sport?
Yeah, I've known the guys for a very long time. I've been under them. I've been working with them, but under a different brand since I was like 17 years old. But they're the ones who signed me with that brand. This guy James, Ty, and all of his team, like a bunch of great lads. And then I've been with that brand, that other brand for like until I got my black belt. And recently, since getting my black belt, then I signed back with Progress under the same guys, James and his team. And it's just cool, man. It's a big brand. It's an honor to be part of it. More just because there's such a nice group of lads. Okay. Obviously there's you can have brands that have nice stuff, but not every brand is going to be ran by a team of absolute legends. So for me, it's just awesome to get to work with nice people, people I have respect for and people that have respect for me. I feel very well taken care of. Anytime I need something, I know I can just reach out and they'll help me out. And yeah, man, I'm just happy for the guys as well. Progress is doing very well at the minute, and what else is there to say? Just awesome brand, awesome people, and yeah, it's all love, man.
Yeah, I believe they're very good. They're always kind of bringing their athletes out. With that thing you did with was it the Royal Air Force? Was it last year? That
Yeah,
was brilliant. Yeah, that
yeah.
was
So we've done two Royal Air Force videos. One of them is out on YouTube right now, and the second one still hasn't been released. There's still some editing to be done, so maybe in the next couple of months, the second Royal Air Force video will be dropped on the Progress YouTube channel. So stay tuned for that one.
that'll be brilliant. That'll be brilliant. So, as someone who's competed at the highest level of jiu-jitsu, how do you prepare for competition and how do you handle losses or injuries or kind of setbacks?
In terms of handling losses, there's this quote I've seen recently, and I think I always say it to myself, and I always say it to other people if I get into my own head a bit too much, or if other people tend to get into their own head, is when you win, don't think you're the greatest, and when you lose, don't think you're the worst. We are competing at a high level. Anything can happen. Anyone can beat anyone on the day. And there was another line that I discovered recently, another quote. It says, being okay if you win and being okay if you lose is a very strong position to be in. And I think what that means, or at least what it means for me, is, sometimes we can focus so much on winning that you want to win so bad that you're nervous to perform, and then you're gonna freeze in the moment. So if you're okay with winning, it's not the biggest thing. If you win, that's cool. If you lose, that's cool. If you can be cool in both situations, I feel like that's gonna make it easier for you to pull it off on the day because you're not gonna be afraid of performing. I always tell myself, see, I'm not afraid. I don't, I'm happy to lose if I gave it a good performance. I could
Yeah,
lose first round, but if I did everything I could do and I didn't freeze and I moved nice, I'm good. Compared to, sometimes let's say your opponents are not that good and you win, but you're not happy with how you performed. Maybe you were like super stressed on the day. You didn't enjoy being there. Okay, you won, but it wasn't a good experience.
exactly.
Sometimes I lose and I really enjoyed the day, and it was a day I learned a lot. So you just have to find just have to find that balance where you want to go to the tournament and compete, but actually get yourself to the point where you can compete, but enjoy it.
So you want to just perform well, winning or losing, it does not matter. You want to perform the best you can. Obviously, winning would be nice,
Yeah.
but you just want to
Yeah,
perform
there's
as good as you
see
can.
see the winning aspect of it you cannot control. Depending on who you fight or whatever happens on the day, you cannot control winning or losing. But what you can control, what you can be in control of, is focusing on performing well, and that's all you can ask yourself. I'm going in there. I just want to go in and just express my jiu-jitsu, express my moves, show how good I can be, regardless of winning or losing. I will just go in there, do my best, and whatever happens, happens. That's all you can ask of yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. What about injuries? I know you did your knee, was it a couple of years ago? Um,
Yeah, so this is when I was younger, so maybe like 18 or 19. I had an ACL surgery, but yeah, it all went well, man. I focused back then. I didn't have that many responsibilities, and it was like during summertime, so I wasn't in college. I wasn't working. Well, I couldn't. I think I did have a job, but I had to stop working because obviously I had surgery and I couldn't walk. So
yeah.
I was lucky enough to have a lot of time on my hands to just spend on just rehabbing myself and making sure I come back like twice the athlete I was. Back
Yeah.
then, I was very, very concerned about, coming back. I didn't know anything about like surgeries or knees. I didn't know anything about ligaments, tendons, how to recover. But I had some good people around me, and I got the head down, and I would spend just every day. I'd be in the gym for multiple hours a day, just working on rehab. Sometimes I would do like my rehab program, take a break, go eat, and I'd have nothing else to do. So I would just do the rehab program again. I was just
Yeah.
18,
Yeah.
19. Back then, I was just like super obsessed with just getting back in. It was just like scaring me that there is a possibility that I might not come back and ever be able to do jiu-jitsu again. So that was like a big fear of mine back then. So I try to make sure I'm doing everything correctly from the time I wake up to the time I go back to sleep. Everything was just focused on getting myself back on the mats. And after surgery, I came back to 100% after just 7 months.
Yeah. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. So Jiu-Jitsu has grown massively in popularity over the past couple of years. It's like, where do you see the future of the sport, especially in kind of Europe and Ireland? Because I know Ireland, we've definitely got some very, very good clubs now at the moment. We have East Coast, we have Brew, we have, I think, JS, BJJ is also very good. There's so many really, really good clubs that are starting to rise up, and we're starting to produce some really phenomenal athletes.
Yes. So where do I see jiu-jitsu like in the future?
Yeah, yeah, especially in Europe and Ireland.
Yeah, man, especially if you look at the last 10 years, jiu-jitsu, what jiu-jitsu was when I started training compared to what it is now, like 12, 13 years later, that's a massive difference in itself. When I started training back in 2012, no one really knew what it was. I would tell people I'm doing jiu-jitsu, and they would always say, is that like karate? But nowadays, if you tell people you do jiu-jitsu, either they do it, they've tried it before, or they know someone that does it,
Yeah,
and especially with the rise of the UFC, and obviously we have Conor McGregor in Ireland. I feel like that was a big increase in popularity after Conor blew up on the scene. But yeah, man,
yeah, for
it,
sure.
it's just gonna keep going up. What that's gonna mean is more gyms, more people are gonna train. It's eventually gonna become a very popular sport, same as if you look at the fitness culture, like the
Yeah,
culture of people lifting weights. Back when I was like 16, no one would be like lifting weights. You were just like, if you lift weights, you're like bodybuilder status. Everybody would be making fun of you that you're trying to be a bodybuilder. But nowadays, it's just part of having a healthy lifestyle and a good culture. So I think eventually jiu-jitsu will get up to that point as well, where it just so many people do it that people attract other people, and then it's just going to go very mainstream within the next 10 years.
yeah, that's brilliant. And now for our final question. Do you have any personal or professional goals that you're still working towards, either in competition or in your coaching role at Jiu-Jitsu?
Yeah, man. So competition goes. Um, I just want to win as many majors as possible at black belt. Try to win ADCC trials, get myself to ADCC, try to win ADCC, and then I'm looking to win majors gi and no gi at black belt. I've done it at brown belt. I won NOK Europeans. I want to do that at black belt next week. If I
Yeah,
do it, then I want to do it again the year after that. We got NOK Worlds this December. I'm gonna try to win NOK Worlds. We got gi Europeans in January. So I'm just always chasing
yeah.
winning the next major, but now obviously at the highest level.
Personal goals, win as much as you can, compete as much as you can. Just get out there, compete at that highest level. And from a coaching
Yeah.
perspective, what are your goals then?
From a coaching perspective, man, like right now I'm a coach. I focus on our students a lot. I teach a lot of classes and I'm just trying to pass down my knowledge onto others, inspire others, and try grow the next batch of elite athletes and try get more athletes up and coming who are going to be under the East Coast flag in the future. And then eventually, when I get a little bit older, maybe have a gym of my own and then start cultivating my own people from scratch. That's probably going to be happening once I get like past 30. I'm 27 now. I still have like, a couple years in me until that's going to happen. But once I do get like, closer to my mid 30s, then I'll probably be happy to start opening up my own gym as
That would be
well,
brilliant.
of course, under the East Coast flag.
Yeah, of course. Okay, thank you very
And
much.
it's just again trying to spread jiu-jitsu and spread the knowledge and pass the knowledge and motivate people, pass that down to other people and try and make jiu-jitsu as big as it can and use jiu-jitsu to give people what jiu-jitsu has given me.
Yeah,
That's what it's all
yeah.
about.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time today, Richie. I'm very, very grateful. You've been an absolute star. I hope to see you down the East Coast if I'm down in December or something. Um,
Of
okay,
course, mate.
of course. Okay.